please find a seat. We'll get started.
I was saying something.
All right.
Yeah. Really?
Have you done?
No. It's on the list. Yeah, everything's good.
Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to 1 Million Cups. We'd like to first always start out with introducing our organizers. In the back we have Esther Lopez. And then we also have Mark Terrazas. And Nancy Lowry. And myself, I'm Ernesto Gamboa, so again, welcome. We always like to start off with a short video.
One Million Cups is a weekly educational program developed by the Paso Foundation.
Over the years, we've added more cities, creates a great energy to see what's happening across the country.
What I've learned from other entrepreneurs is very, very valuable.
Sitting in a room with people that have ideas too, it helps people to believe that, you know what, my idea is worth something, it's worth pursuing, it's worth going after it. Even if it looks like a challenge, I should still go out and try to do it.
Okay, so what is 1 Million Cups? Started by the Coffee Foundation and supported by them. It's a program where every week we bring 2 entrepreneurs here to the setting and they tell you their story, their trials, their tribulations, their lessons learned, their successes. And then the real value add comes where you all get to ask them questions over a 15-minute Q&A. Every entrepreneur that we've had to present has said we got great feedback, great ideas, that's the real value. So don't be afraid to get in the weeds with them. Ask them the tough questions. Give them your feedback. So that's what this is all about. We'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors. Our really delicious coffee is by pickup.coffee, and he always reminds me to say that's the domain, .coffee, pickup.coffee. And then of course our venue here is the Hub of Human Innovation, so thanks to them for hosting us. Please download the mobile app, 1 Million Cups, and check in. You can follow the website, you can also follow the Hub and 1 Million Cups. And on the 1 Million Cups app, there's also a place where you can actually provide feedback. So if you don't get to ask your question, there's a Q&A, or if you think of something later, or want to give them some feedback offline, you can do that through the mobile app. So that's a wonderful thing, so please remember to do that. And lastly, before we get into our program, our first presenter, we are looking for other presenters. So if you have thought about doing it, you need to do it, and or bring your friends and have them do it. It's a wonderful opportunity to get the word out, practice public speaking. So anyway, with that, I will get to our first presenter, Vitanya. Yes, sir. Okay.
In conclusion, I never said no to those birds. Sorry. Good morning, I'm John Strickland, and I'd like to speak with you this morning about Vitanya Wellness Centers. We're located at 1760 Airway Boulevard, Suite 104. That's near the airport and behind in the office building behind Applebee's. But before I get into that, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a 70-year-old with a 20-year plan. I'm excited about the future. And I've served 23 years in the military, in the Army, and 2 tours in Vietnam. 44 years as a helicopter pilot, and my educational background is a Bachelor of Science in Aeronautics, an MBA, and a doctorate in ministry. I retired in 2012 and began advocating for veterans in the Phoenix area where I was living. That led me to an introduction to the CEOs of Heal the Hero and Vitanya. Heal the Hero is a 501c3 charity associated with Vitanya, and what they do is they seek veterans, active duty military, and first responders that can benefit from the services that we provide at our wellness center. Then they go out into the community and solicit donations from businesses to fund that service at no cost to that veteran or first responder. I joined the board of directors just as they began franchising. And my wife and I have moved from Phoenix to El Paso to develop this business. El Paso is my wife's hometown, and she asked me not to tell you how long ago it was when she left. But about Vitanya, we are the leader in brain performance programs. We use supplements, proprietary supplements, and advanced technology. And I have time to tell you about the technology this morning, so that's where I'm going to devote my time. We are non-medical, and we're non-intrusive. We do not heal, cure, treat, or diagnose, or prescribe. Okay, so we are not the medical model. We use galvanic skin response, which is the same technology as biofeedback, EEG, EKG, and the lie detector, except we're about 3 generations past that. Human beings are electrical. Everything in our body is controlled by our brain that sends electrical frequencies to every cell in our body. What our technology is able to do is find out what those frequencies are. We can also discover if there's an imbalance, and we can ask the brain, what frequency would you send in order to correct that issue? And it does. Then we can ask the brain, send that signal instead of what you're currently sending. So that's it in a nutshell. By asking the brain to send the correct frequency, we can return the brain to balance. So who can benefit from this technology? We have 2 very strict criteria. Our clients must have a brain, and they must have a pulse. Everyone that meets those 2 criteria that comes through our doors leaves better. I have a short video I'd like to show you. Her name is Rebecca. She's a veteran that was living in the Phoenix area under the care of a psychiatrist at the VA. She was on 30 prescription medications. 9 of her battle buddies had committed suicide the year prior. She was locked in her apartment, afraid of loud noises, couldn't go outside. And the psychiatrist said, I've used every tool in my bag. I don't know what to do. But she had learned about Vitanya, so she took Rebecca to Vitanya. What you're going to see is the last 30 seconds of her video. If you would like to see the whole thing, go to YouTube and search for Heal the Hero. And you'll find the video there.
Since my husband is moving like drastically, I'm like, I never thought I would be where I'm at. I'm starting to set goals in life. I made friends to go back to college. And I'm actually going to compete my first bodybuilding competition in October 2017. And got on some things, like I said earlier, like I said, I know people work out and it's amazing because I never would guess that would be possible.
That's a promotional from Heal the Hero. So again, you can go to YouTube, search for Heal the Hero channel, and you can see the entire video, as well as other videos of people that we've helped. Rebecca went from being locked up in her apartment, her own free will, to being a productive member of society in 1 year because of the technology that she was exposed to at Vitanya. She redesigned the shipping and receiving because of her military training for Dick's Sporting Goods stores. The manager was so impressed with it, he called the corporate folks down to take a look at it. They were impressed and said, we're going to implement this company-wide. So let's meet this young lady. So they went to meet her, and they told her that how impressed they were with what she had done, and understood that she wanted to be a bodybuilder, professional bodybuilder. They told her, Dick's Sporting Goods store would like to be your sponsor. So she went from attempted suicide to now a career as a professional bodybuilder with a sponsor because of the technology she was exposed to at Vitanya. Now, before I go to Q&A, I want to ask the question that's probably on the top of your minds. Yes, we can help your spouse. Now I'll open it up to Q&A. What questions do you have for me? Yes, sir.
So, can you describe the technology a little more?
Do you know how a microwave works? Could you explain it?
No.
But you use one. Can you explain your cell phone? My point is, it took 20 years to develop this technology. I know it works. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I saw the technology results through videos like this and meeting heroes that have seen this technology change their lives. And I bought the franchise before I ever experienced it myself. Now, my personal diagnosis, as a veteran, I was diagnosed with severe PTSD. But I think I'm dealing with it pretty well because of this technology. My wife says I'm a different person. So that's a pretty significant change. So no, I can't get, especially in the time we have this meeting, tell you how the technology works, but I know it does. Questions?
I have a question. So you mentioned the electric currents in the body, right? So then my assumption is that part of the process is that maybe you guys provide some sort of like shock therapy to like stimulate the currents, or no?
We don't go anywhere near that. The closest question to that is, what if the wrong people get a hold of this technology? I said, you're thinking of Jason Bourne, aren't you?
No, I haven't.
What we're trying to do is find the imbalances and correct them. If someone has evil intent, they could use any technology that's been designed for evil intent. But we're helping people. The stories could go on. But my wife tells me once I get talking about this, I won't stop telling stories because it's so impressive. A 9-year-old diagnosed with ADD. The teacher and the principal wanted his parents to put him on Ritalin, but the mother said, no, I've heard of an alternative. So she took him to Vitanya. He was below grade level in all subjects, reading 20 words per minute, disruptive in class. When he was given a test, he just scribbled all over it and didn't accomplish it. 2 weeks later, he's reading 95 words per minute. He is paying attention in class. They gave him a 15-question test. He answered all questions correctly and sat there until the rest of the class finished the test. 2 months later, he's above grade level in all subjects because of this technology. Questions?
Are you following the startup principles developed by Stephen Bank?
I'm not familiar with those. Okay. So I'll get with you afterwards and find out what you're talking about. Other questions?
So I'm a little confused. Exactly how does the technology work?
Okay. I thought I may come to this. I was scheduled to go in because I've had lifelong sinus problems. But the evening before I went in to see the center, I had an argument with my wife. And we didn't resolve it. So when I went in, the wellness coach asked me how I was doing. I told her about the argument. And she said, well, we don't need to look at your sinuses. We need to look at your level of peace. Yes, we can look at emotional factors as well. So we looked at this, and the way the technology displays it, there's going to be a circle on the screen. If everything is in balance, everything will be inside the circle. That's what my peace looked like from the technology. It measured 13 biomarkers. All 13 were out of range. So we asked the brain, search yourself. What's the first signal? If I could use the expression, what was the manufacturer's suggested first signal that you sent to all these biomarkers? 5 minutes later, we redid the biomapping, and that's what it looked like. Now, that would be impressive itself, but I have to tell you what it did to me. I went home and I wrote a full-page apology to my wife, and when she got home from work, I read it to her, and she was in tears when I finished it. She said, that is the most authentic, heartfelt apology I have ever heard. I accept your apology. Let's forget the argument. Let's move on. So not only did it bring me back to peace, but it brought our marriage back to peace. Yes, sir?
Can I borrow that letter? New franchise opportunity.
Because this is a franchise, if you have questions about franchising, I can address those as well.
Yeah, I have a. sorry, my question about franchising was, since you bought a franchise, do they provide you with the business training, everything you need to know how to achieve the ROI? Or do they just kind of give it to you, throw you out into the real world?
It depends on what your background is. With an MBA, I had such a big head, I said, I don't need your help. But I found out
So you priced it out?
I found out that I did. A common misconception is that a franchise is a cookie cutter operation. If you just follow their procedures, they've already found the problems. They had a test franchise for 2 years. So they found the majority of the problems. We occasionally come up with something, gee, I never thought about that. Last week I asked the CEO, do you have any marketing material in Spanish? Oh, John, that'd be a good idea. Well, we need it here in El Paso. So we're developing that now.
And how do you target all of us could use some kind of mental adjustment, I'm sure, but the people that actually walk through your door, how are they finding out about you? And
that was the answer to how can you help me. Word of mouth is how our business spreads. So there was one franchise that started in the Phoenix area. She didn't even have an office. She worked out of her house. She took the technology to 10 of her friends. Each of those friends told 3 other people about it. She went to them. They told others. And I was in the CEO's office in the middle of February when she walked in and said, hi, Mike, just want to let you know my first 2 weeks of February, gross sales is $14,000. She did no advertising. It's all word of mouth.
next question is, what's the cost structure and how much time do you expect someone to be in the facility versus time away from it? How much time can you not do on your own? Because I don't know how I would go to Airway for something. I live on the west side.
Well, it depends on where the person is at. We schedule our first appointment for 30 minutes because we have to explain what we're doing. Follow-up appointments are only 15 minutes because what we can do is go back to that technology. Okay, this is what we discovered. All we have to do is remind the brain that these are the frequencies we want you to send. If there's another issue that comes up, for example, in my case, PTSD, I started out with working on sinuses. I said, oh, you can help PTSD? Okay, well, let's do that also. So it depends on what the need is of the client, of how long it's going to go. Rebecca is probably going to continue this for the rest of her life because she's seen the changes that it causes and she wants to keep that balance.
Right.
Now, a maintenance program can be done for 1 visit a month. So it depends. Rebecca, when she first started, she had just attempted suicide, and they saw her 3 times a week, and then they backed it down.
I know you open with the disclosure of I don't diagnose, I don't treat anything. Are you? Seems like this is a hybrid, obviously, a hybrid of an opportunity for people to, as a resource, alternative to a psychologist or psychiatrist.
We support the medical model. If someone comes in and says, my doctor wants me to take this, what do you think about it? So that's between you and your doctor. We support the medical field. We're not going to say anything contrary to what a medical doctor or psychiatrist is saying. We're independent, but we support. Yes,
To the best of your knowledge, are there any psychologists or psychiatrists that have gotten interested in franchising the model?
I'm glad you asked that. Rebecca's psychiatrist no longer works at the VA. She now works at Vitanya. She has seen this as the next step in wellness for someone that's undergoing counseling, whether by a psychiatrist or psychologist. But she sees this as the next step in wellness because a psychiatrist can get someone to a certain point and then hopes they don't fall off. All right? So what she sees is this is the next step. If they will continue with this program and stay in balance, they won't have that possibility of regression. So yes, we're psychiatrists.
So I'm a little confused how you got from all red outside the box to green. What happened between those two readings?
We asked the brain, search for the original signal that you sent to those biomarkers. And the brain found them.
You just asked?
The technology asks. Through the technology, we ask the brain, what is the original signal you sent? And then we ask the brain, send that frequency instead of what you're currently sending. See, in life, stress builds up. What happens if we don't do anything about it? The brain thinks it's normal. So the brain's not doing anything about it. If we can ask the brain, what was the signal you were sending when it was in balance? Send that instead. Suddenly people are sleeping all night. Police officers are coming home and playing with their kids because they're not stretched out. They're sleeping better at night. The Mesa Police Department, how am I doing on time? You keep me track of it? Okay. The Mesa Police Department in the Phoenix area, a captain came over to investigate the technology. After 15 minutes, they asked him, would you like to send some of your officers over? He said, no, I want to send them all over. 800 police officers, 200 of which were veterans. 2 months later, the wives started showing up because they saw the difference in their husbands. So not only, it's affecting everyone. Everyone who goes through this, who sees this technology and tells their friends about it, is benefiting. So, yes, I've contacted the police agencies here. Heal the Hero is doing that as well. You asked about, how widespread is the market? Again, if you've got a brain, you're breathing, you can benefit from this technology. Yes, ma'am.
So you're saying in essence, is it electrodes or
We have 100,000 neurotransmitters in our brain. They're like spark plugs. They're not touching. But what happens if you have a traumatic event and they're not aligned anymore? It's sending the wrong signal, sending the wrong frequency. You want to get it aligned so that it sends the correct frequency.
So it sends some kind of electric signal through your brain?
Back to galvanic skin response. If you place your hand on a device, that is the connection between our technology and your brain. So we're not, in a lie detector test, you can learn to cheat. Okay, in galvanic skin response. Because it measures your heart rate, if you're sweating, anxiety, those kind of things. But our technology, after 20 years of development, it asks the questions of the brain. So we're not involved in it. It's not subjective. It's whatever we're looking at. If you come in and you say, I really have a problem with my sinuses. Well, let's look at your sinuses and ask the technology to ask the brain, what signal are you sending? The CEO's wife, they called her Red Nose because she had so many allergies. She was a skeptic, but she finally came in and to check out the technology. The technology gave her a list of 50 things that she was allergic to. Now, why would a woman be allergic to the smell of a rose? That's just not right. So, we asked the technology asked the brain, why are you sending a signal at the smell of a rose that causes her eyes to water and her nose to clog up? That's not right. What was the signal that you originally sent? 15 minutes later, she left there with no allergies. And she hasn't had any allergies since because she comes back once a week. So, there is, yes, sir.
Well, I was going to let you finish. Because I have another question.
I will keep talking.
How this is so cool. Let me congratulate you because this sounds so cool. I want you to fix me because I'm crazy. But I wanted to ask you, how protected are you as a franchisee here in El Paso? Because this sounds so cool, and I can already see a bunch of chiropractors or psychologists or just business people wanting to get hands on this franchise and become your competition. How protected are you here in El Paso? Because I just don't want to create, because I believe that we create our own demons. Right now, I think that if you're bringing this to El Paso, if you're not well protected, somebody else is going to come in and become your competition.
Good question. The American Medical Association would like to see us shut down. We are not governed by any of the FDA or the AMA. We're not involved with any of that. If they want to close us down, they've got to close down GNC and every other.
No, but I mean here in El Paso, that somebody can just become a franchisee of Vitanya, what do you call it?
Vitanya?
And then be your competition. Can we do that? Or can anybody do that? I mean, it's not like I want to do it, but.
The way franchises work, I bought a territory.
Awesome.
And I effectively have the El Paso County tied up.
Good for you.
So if you'd like to join me, you can talk to me about that. But direct competition, not gonna say it.
Okay, and the last question, how can we as a community help you, John?
We see people by appointment. Please call. My card and literature is on the table in the back. Please call and make an appointment. It's 30 minutes. If it's not for you, it hasn't cost you anything. If you see that this can help you, then we'll talk about the price structure of the program that is right for you. Our business is going to be spread by, going to build by word of mouth. So please come over, check us out, and again, no cost if you don't think it's for you.
All the other franchisees, how many are there now?
Good question. There are 17 franchisees.
So far. Have
So
any of
far.
them done any kind of advertising besides word of mouth?
We are the first franchise outside of Arizona. All the existing franchises are either in the Phoenix area and 2 of them in Tucson.
But have they done any advertising besides word of mouth?
No?
Just word of mouth?
Yes. I have done advertising. I've placed an ad in the Fort Worth newspaper.
Okay, we really are out of time, but we do have networking time at the end if you want to talk to John, and we have his contact. No, wait, no.
Oh, yes.
You get your very cool travel mug, and then we have to take a picture here, so. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we have some time for some community announcements. Let's see, actually first I want to recognize some guests that are here. We have Naum Apalaca with the MCA, wave please. We are Naum. And then we also have Aaron Nazarian with Borderplex Alliance, who was here, now he went back there. Okay, some community announcements. The Arrowhead Center at NMSU is having a USDA Partnering for Innovation funding opportunities for agribusiness. May 18th at 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. and that's in Las Cruces at the Arrowhead Center. If you needed any additional information, please come see us. People Fund, People Start program is having a, are you interested in capital and training to expand your budding startup business? Enroll today, that's going to be on June 7th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then we have information, or again, Esther Lopez in the back can give you some more information. The El Paso Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is having their 13th annual Women's Business Symposium, Dancing Backwards in High Heels, May 18th at the Wyndham Airport Hotel. If you'd like additional information, again, please talk to us. And lastly, please do check out the Downtown Insider. We promised that we would promote them, they would promote us. Downtown Insider, you can get their newsletter, find out all the different things that are happening downtown. Does anybody in the audience have a community announcement? Yes, sir.
I don't know if you remember me, I'm Jonathan. I work with Wells Fargo, I'm a business banking specialist. Last week, it was the Small Business Appreciation Week from the Small Business Administration, nationwide. Well, it's still Small Business Appreciation every day at Wells Fargo, but this month especially, we have an offer for the hub, the Million Cups. If you do guys want to give us a try, we give you $250 when you try our checking account for businesses. So just come and see me. Let's see how we can help you grow your business.
Great, thank you. Any others?
I have,
Yes, ma'am.
having an open house, it's my 2nd year anniversary. It's tomorrow from 5:30 to 8, free margaritas again.
And your businesses?
So El Paso, it's on 2717 North Stanton, and we'll have food and we'll sample off everything too, so.
And margaritas.
Free.
Did we mention margarita? Okay. Lastly, we give away a travel mug. Okay, who is here for the first time and brought more than one friend? How many did you bring, sir? 2 friends. We have somebody in the back. How many did you bring? 2 friends as well. Oh, so we need a time. Oh, 3. They can't. Okay, but should we penalize them for not being able to count? No, I'm kidding. Okay. Great job bringing 2 friends.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, and before we get on to our second presenter, lastly, real quick, please make sure you sign in. If you didn't sign in, please sign in on your way out. And again, we are looking for presenters, so this could be you up here talking about your business. And with that, I'll bring up our next presenter, Unthink.
Right here.
There you go. Hiding behind the camera.
So instead of talking about the business, I was asked that if I could talk a little more about my entrepreneurial journey and the stuff that I got myself into for the past 10 years, the good and the bad. So I'll talk a little bit more about myself, and instead of pitching you my business. And at the end, I hope that you guys see how, if anything, if you happen to need our services, it's a good segue to understand my background and why I do what I do and the service I provide to our clients. My name is Humberto Valle, and I just relocated from Arizona about almost a year ago. And I like Spider-Man a lot because of that one quote, that with great power comes great responsibility. I feel that as entrepreneurs, when we have a business, we have a great responsibility to provide back to our community. So I like Spider-Man a lot because of that. I'm not sure how to use this remote. So I think my entrepreneurial story is a little more of accidental, but with certain strategic steps taken as I went along. While growing up, I actually started painting and drawing, like every kid, right? But I actually got to where I was decent enough, and I got scholarships, and I went to the Strickland school in Florida. So I was doing art for a while, and that's where I actually got myself into running my first business when I was, I wasn't even 19. I think I was like 18, almost 19. But I was doing t-shirt design as a service for other startup graphic design t-shirt companies. So I was doing design for them. Through that, I had to learn how to market myself, read books, read online, whatever I could get my hands on, just so that I learned how to run my business. That eventually failed, and I got tired of Florida, so I left. I came back to Texas for a little bit, and then I left to Arizona. In Arizona, I wasn't doing paintings. I was selling, again, just focusing on marketing and learning what to do. And through that whole movement, actually, that got me introduced to the whole entrepreneurial community in Arizona, which, if you guys are aware and familiar with Arizona, is becoming the next Silicon Valley. And it started, almost 10 years ago. But when I was there, I was doing good for a while, and then the economy started tanking, and I couldn't make a living out of selling paintings. So I went to school, and I got a bachelor's in engineering, and I was doing engineering and contract engineering for a few years, and working in mines. I know it's probably not a good thing, but that paid the bills for a while. So I was doing mechanical engineering for big mining companies in Argentina, Canada, certain parts of Mexico. And during that whole time, I was still working with startups, getting myself more acquainted and more into the whole entrepreneurial ecosystem in Phoenix. During that time, we started opening co-working spaces and co-shared office spaces. So through that, I started meeting more and more entrepreneurs, started helping them based on my experiences, started combining just, my experiences, what I have learned, the books that I have read, and just helping mentoring entrepreneurs through this incubators and or co-working spaces. That led me to getting more interested in business, so that I went back and I got a master's in business with a focus on strategy. So I went to Grand Canyon University in Phoenix, a beautiful campus if you guys haven't been there. And yeah, so I love it. I love strategy. I love the fact that you can manipulate certain situations or circumstances, and depending on your position and depending on your perspective, you can turn them and be a positive thing. So that's kind of what I do. I've been busy, so again, my whole entrepreneurial has been just accidental, because I got myself introduced to entrepreneurs. I've been able to help and be part of a lot of different startups. Maybe you guys, these are just some of them, and maybe you guys never heard of them. But PureChat is an online service that you can just plug into your website, so you can communicate as a chat through with your visitors and clients. Somebody's visiting your website, they can come in, send you a text through the website, and you can respond to them on your phone. That one is probably one of the bigger ones. Yep grew, again, through strategy. It took us about a year, and she went from having an idea on wanting to monetize on apps that she didn't create to now she runs her business. She has about 50 employees, and she still doesn't create any of the apps, but she makes money off of them. Open Up, that was a job-seeking platform for where you could find jobs and pitch yourself on video instead of having to send resumes and do all that. The employers could vet you, they could see your social media, they could see who you are as a person before they actually decided to give you a call. Through Clarity, how many of you have heard of startups.co? Are any of you familiar with startups.co? It's actually also ran and not managed, but co-sponsored by the Kaufman Foundation as well. And Clarity was actually, it was launched maybe 5 years ago by Will Schroeder, and I was part of that. So if you guys go to Clarity now, you'll see a big ecosystem worldwide of experts that volunteer their knowledge, and you can go and ask any question you want, and anybody could answer the question. So like I said, I've been part of the Startup Weekend, startups.co. I was in incubators with Infusionsoft, if you guys know what Infusionsoft does. I'm with a team with the Common Foundation through startups.co for the Growth Hackers community as well, through Sean Ellis. I've been part of and helped organize and grow a co-working space in Arizona called Unthink, and also Cahoots. Cahoots is one of the biggest, I think is recognized as the best #1 co-working space in the nation, and like number 10 in the world. Unthink is a free co-working space, and Cahoots it's almost like the hub, just a little bit. So again, my quote, that as entrepreneurs, we have the most to gain from the businesses. That's why we launch our own businesses. But because we have that, we have a lot of responsibility to give back to the community. Part of my community is offering a nonprofit here in El Paso to shout to the world that El Paso has more to offer. And we do this by using the hashtag YesPTX on social media. That's it. And this is Unthink, and that's what we do.
Okay, great. And now we have 15 minutes for Q&A.
Go ahead, just be nice.
So how do you do your digital marketing?
What do you mean, how do we do it?
Right, what do you do for the digital marketing?
So it's a combination of things. A lot of people think that digital marketing is some sort of, click a button and you're done, right? There's certain ways. So actually, here in El Paso, as far as I know, we're the only team, agency recognized by HubSpot. So I think we're the only HubSpot agency in El Paso. And if you're familiar with HubSpot, they actually walk you and they give you an example of the entire methodology that you should go through when you're creating any kind of campaign, whether it's print or online or whatever it is. So what we do as a marketing company, we actually look into the business. Because of my background, I like to get into the business and learn more about the business and the market. But what we do is we actually get into knowing your market, your business, see what you're doing is right for the product, right for the market. And then once we know that we're not going to waste any efforts, then we actually go and promote it. The way we promote it is by doing the same, following the whole lead methodology, where you know who your target market is, you understand the persona, and then you launch and you create everything that you can, from landing pages, websites, social media, and everything has a reason.
But I was asking about Unthink. What do you?
So what?
I was asking you about.
But that's what we do.
Okay.
That's what we do. And a lot of our clients that they hire us not because they need one thing in specific. A lot of people will call and ask me, can you give me the first picture of Google? And I tell them that we could, but we don't do that, right? The idea is so that we can educate your potential customers through different approaches online, and set everything that you can think of so that it doesn't matter where people are coming and finding out about your brand, about your service, one way or another, you're gonna capture something from them, right? An email, a location, a like, a share, whatever it is, and through that, you're building more serendipity so you get more customers. Kind of like networking in person. The more people you meet, the more you get to see those people, the more clout you build, and the more chances that they're gonna be referring you on and on. And digital marketing is essentially the same thing.
Print advertising and paid advertising, why are those separate?
Print advertising we refer to as billboards, magazines, business cards, brochures, those kind of things.
Not newspapers anymore?
So what?
Not newspapers anymore?
No, and if anything, if you were to ask me personally, I don't ever opt for anything printed.
Really?
I don't know. Well, again, I do marketing, right? And there's this misconception that people think that marketing is the same word as advertising, right? But it's completely different. Marketing is a management level effort. You have to understand the business. You have to know your customers. You have to understand your pricing, how everything plays in together. Versus advertising, you just pay somebody, you appear on a billboard, you appear in a magazine. You don't know if your ad on a magazine is the right one, right? You don't know if you have the right calls to action. You don't know if you're offering anything. Most people pay for an ad and then they link to the main website versus sending them to a specific landing page or website that talks to that specific demographic, right? So marketing is a lot different than advertising. Paid advertising, I refer to it as
Print and paid.
yeah, paid is Google, right? So it's same thing, it's digital, but you pay for Google ads, you pay for Facebook ads. Digital marketing doesn't always include paid advertising.
But print advertising isn't paid advertising?
So what?
Print advertising.
Print advertising, you pay for it, obviously, but when it comes to digital marketing, it's, again, the way I separate it is print advertising is you print it. Paid advertisement online, which is what we do, has to do with Google ads, with Facebook ads, with Twitter, LinkedIn.
Have you heard of companies from India and those offshore companies?
Have you heard of?
Yes, how do you?
You know what's funny? That we get a lot of calls and cold emails and cold calls from SEO experts, marketing experts, web designers, calling and offering their services to us, right? So I usually just hang up. Yeah, well, I mean, think about it. It's one of those things, right? It's one of those things. If you're so good at SEO, you don't have to be cold calling. If you're so good at advertising, you shouldn't be cold calling. If you're really good at whatever you do, you shouldn't contradict what you're doing by using other resources, right? So I'm not saying that those services are bad. It's just there's a difference in quality. There's a difference in what you're paying for. With SEO, which is what a lot of our Indian companies do, is they create what we call click farms, and you just, when people get you on the first page of Google, it's usually because they have somebody building and creating a ton of fake accounts. Google calls them thin pages, and suddenly Google sees 1,000 pages with your website in there, pointing back to your website, right? So now Google thinks that you must be really relevant because suddenly you have 1,000 links. But those links will go away, and once Google starts catching them, they start ignoring it. And that's what most people have to, they find themselves paying on and off every month so that they can just keep that first page, because they have to go and create new links and every month. Whereas with marketing, again, it's a management level effort. It's about educating people. So what we do a lot is we write a lot of content. We, those how-tos, all those, every time you guys search for something, somebody created it for marketing purposes. The how-tos, the infographics, the videos, tutorials, the DIYs, everything, it's all content and it's branded, because again, the more you see the brand, the more you get educated by the brand, the more you trust it. And then as you get walked, you become more expensive for whatever you're searching for, you usually will start seeing either receiving emails, or you start seeing like sign up for this, download this and receive this free ebook, this tutorial. That's all marketing, and there's a difference between paid advertisement, which is you just put it out on Google, versus something that you build, and once you do it, it's there forever, right? Unless you shut it down.
So who's your main competition here?
Actually, here we don't have any competition. Because we started in I mean, everybody's a competitor, right? Even alternatives like not using us. But when I started consulting. I started Unthink about 10 years ago. Just consulting and helping and working with startups. There's this company in Arizona that I based everything that I do off of them. And so if anything, even on my HubSpot, I measure and compare myself against them. I mean, they're a huge company. They have thousands of employees, but their metrics and their services are the exact same thing, except for they just have more people doing it for more companies. But here in El Paso, I don't really think so. If anything, I think we have a barrier to entry here in El Paso because a lot of people don't really see the difference between marketing and just paying for a magazine, right? A lot of our clients are from other places. We really don't have any clients here in El Paso. We have a handful of them.
The reason I was asking is because all this stuff is offered through the TNPs or the Sinclairs or those kinds of media outlets.
Yeah.
And they offer the full thing just like this.
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of curious if you consider them part of your competition.
No, because with them, again, they don't have first of all, they don't have experts. They have anybody on the streets that may know what they're doing based on a small little circle, right? They don't have like with us. We're a small team at Unthink, but we have 2 computer scientists from UTEP. I have an award-winning graphic designer, and I have myself, right? And then we have about another 5-6 contractors that we can outsource depending on the work that we get. So one of the reasons that we get hired is people that tell us, that because we're a small agency, that's
what they like.
It's better than having a big company, because as soon as a person clocks in and clocks out, if you don't see something, you can call them. You can email them until they respond, the next week or the following day. Versus with a small agency, again, everybody does the same thing. It's just it depends on the approach that you want. Yeah. Plus, the way we build it is meant to be more affordable.
The name Unthink is just so cool because it's a word, but it's not a word. Where did you come up with the idea of Unthink as a name?
Actually, I grew up with the idea that if you wanted to be an astronaut, you could, right? I know we're told that when we're little, but I actually grew up believing it, right? Nothing is really that difficult as long as you actually got there and tried. Once you got there and tried, you may see how relatively easy the things can be, So as I grew up, I started hearing the word we think. And then I started Googling it, and then I came across the word Unthink, and it just so happens that a lot of people use that word. I didn't come up with it. There's a social media startup like from 8 years ago maybe that they were going to call it Unthink, and it was like the anti-Facebook website. But there's a lot of people use that word. There's another Eric Wall. I happen to be good friends with him. He uses that for his brand as well. And we started talking because of the same thing that we're going to have this issue. Go ahead.
Oh, could we have more information on successful campaigns that you maybe social media examples or?
We have a lot. You can just Google stuff. Again, I wanted to give those examples back in the other slide because look, I'll give you a quick example. Pure Chat, again, there's a lot of online chatting platforms, right? Yeah. This one was started in Scottsdale, and we did it to where they didn't have to grow big enough, right? We just had to get them to the right clients and give them the right limits, the right boundaries, so they could be profitable, right? That's kind of how they know how much to spend, what to do, what not to do, whether to compete with the bigger companies or not, right? Because everybody offers those things. Honest Spades that was actually that my wife owns that, but what we did is we took a congested market, and now you have Handy, you have all this other Folger, you have all these other companies, right? But in Arizona, it's not like El Paso. Arizona has everybody can start a cleaning business. What we did as a team is we looked into the market, we saw the holes, we found what everybody else was doing wrong, and we positioned that brand in a way that now that company in Arizona is making over $1 million. Right? Because of that company, I've helped other companies in Portland, another one in New Jersey, that the same thing, the people call us, they find me, the one in New Jersey found me, no, they both found me instead of the company, and they were almost literally about to close. And it took us about 6 months for the New Jersey, almost a year on the Portland one, but the Portland one is now at over $2 million. And that one wasn't marketing, that was just straight up consulting. Yep. Betables, They came to us because they have a lot of programmers, right? But they're not marketers. Yeah. So they have a lot of development power. They don't know how to market. Now they're making, I think, over $3 million. And Sri started with as a just straight up consulting, and now he has us on retainer to handle all their websites, to handle everything that you would think that they could do because they're programmers. But because, again, they're not marketers, so they don't think in the perspective of the client. Everything that they do is more the technical, so we've been moving and switching everything so that it's more approachable. Yes Phoenix, again, if you're familiar with Arizona, Yes Phoenix is a huge community, and it takes a lot of people to grow it, so that's another example. Yo Moments Latino, I'm sure already. Clarity is huge. That one is supported by the Kaufman Foundation as well, so if you guys look it up and tell me that one's another big one. There used to be an app, and now that one closed, but it's all online. And then Yapuro, like I said, she came with nothing but an idea, right? She's a physical therapist, and she had these clever ways of using apps that she would just download from the App Store, but she would use them for the kids, the people that she helps. And so she wanted to create a business that would allow her to monetize from the apps that she didn't know, she didn't create, she didn't have access to monetize from them, and she wanted to figure out a way to build a business around physical therapy and those apps. And like I said, with that one, it was a little challenging. It took a little over a year, but I mean, she has a huge market now.
Since a lot of your business is online, do you currently pay rent on a very expensive office?
No. Actually, I've been trying to talk to the city here to open a free co-working space, and we're kind of waiting until that happens so that we can move the team there. Right now, we have, I work out of my home office, and pretty much everybody, my teams, we all work out of our home offices. So unless we have a meeting, I have my home office set up with whiteboards, with everything we need, and we spend a day or two in there, but we don't like to spend on, like I said, we don't even spend on like flyers and those things.
You mentioned that you had contractors. What kind of contractors do you?
It depends on like graphic designers, programmers, videographers. Yeah.
So how do you grow the business 3 years from now?
Good question. And so the plan that we have is I'm hoping to hire one more person full time. In order for us to do that, I feel that we have to get a few more of overseas clients. Right now, for some reason, we've been getting a lot of calls and a lot of emails from like London companies, UK based, from India, but for some reason, because of our, there's the time difference, the communication issue, we haven't been able to really increase our closing rate on those accounts, and some of them are pretty big. So if I figure out a way to do that efficiently, to where it's not going to hurt our project management, it's not going to hurt our process, I think our growth is going to come through companies from overseas.
You mentioned, I think you called it Trumpet El Paso or something, the way you give back. Talk a little bit about that, and what are some of the successes and some of the obstacles that you've experienced with that?
Or SPTS?
I'm sorry, yes.
Yes. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to replicate what we did in Arizona. In Arizona, we've had this goal of making Arizona the next, the obvious choice for those that don't want to be in California, for those that don't want to be in Silicon Valley, right? It's another great choice. It's not necessarily Phoenix, it's more Chandler, Tempe, and downtown Phoenix, right? And so what we're doing over there, I'm trying to replicate it here. And all it is it's a community of fellow business owners, entrepreneurs. They all have access to all the social media accounts, so anybody can post on anybody's behalf. But the idea is to encourage business owners to shout to the world, to trumpet to the world that El Paso is more than just a drive-through city, right? That there's more opportunity than what people think. And it's just a shouting banner. You use it on social media, and as more people begin to see it, more people will begin to find out everything that is going on in the city, business-wise, development, opportunity-wise. But it is not owned by anybody.
You said that Phoenix is the next Silicon Valley, right? Or it is kind of?
Yeah.
Why are you here?
Actually, well, it's interesting. It's about, I came back for family. For me, it was all about family. I was in Phoenix for almost 11 years, and it's hectic. It's really restless, and I have 2 kids. I have a growing family. I've sold a couple of startups, and I've lost a lot of money. We sold everything we had, and we relocated, and just kind of wanted to start from scratch. So that because I didn't want to be in the point to where I'm stuck building more and more in the city that I really didn't want to be in, because of how restless you can be. It's a very loving and passionate entrepreneurial community, but nobody there sleeps.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very successful.
So, mechanical engineer, how'd you transition that into marketing?
Well, again, it's accidental, right? So I've always liked the idea of the challenge, right? And with marketing, it's all about the challenge. The same thing as with computer engineering, programming, business, and engineering. It's about problem solving, right? You want to do something, and you have to figure out how to get it done. With mechanical engineering, I just had that little bug in my head because my dad was a civil engineer in Mexico, and I never got to meet him. So I always wanted to just have that relation to him.
Yeah, but who gave you that break though? Sure, you might want to do it, but someone on the other side.
For mechanical engineering?
Right, from mechanical engineering to digital marketing.
Well, I started, I was doing mechanical engineering as employee, I was doing it part-time on and off, as I was doing everything else. So I went to school so that I could just get the bug out of the way, and when I got tired, I just kept on, if anything, actually, I think it was because some of the other things were taking over, so I just stopped doing engineering altogether. And I was working on the startups, I was doing marketing. I had already been doing consulting and helping businesses with the strategy. How to follow the lean methodology, how to get to the blue ocean strategy. And eventually I just stopped doing it. It's not that anybody gave me a break and decided to give me a job in marketing. I just had to put what I knew and focus more on that.
Okay, now as always, the last question. What else can we as a community do to help you?
We'll start using the SMPTX hashtag on anything as much as you guys can. Like I said, it's not owned by anybody. If you guys want access to the social media, just send me an email and you guys will have it. But just business owners just know the difference between marketing and advertising. Because I feel that if you guys know that and if you come across an opportunity to share it, maybe more and more business will know the difference. And marketers like us who don't struggle so much in cities like Paso.
Great. Okay, thank you. It's just wrong. Okay, thank you. Okay, real quick, we're just about done here, but we do need to have a real quick discussion or poll with the audience. There's been some thought about moving from the very beginning of 1 Million Cups. There's been some discussion about having this event at different locations. We all know that El Pasoans are very segmented, right? A lot of us, we live on the east side, we don't like to go to the west side. We live on the west side, we don't like to go to the east side. Nobody likes to come downtown unless they have to, right? Or northeast. So, what do y'all think about possibly having this event at an east side location, at a west side location on a rotating basis, maybe even in the northeast on a rotating basis? Would you still come? Do you think that would help attendance, hurt attendance? What do y'all think?
Stay here.
You gotta be consistent.
You gotta be consistent? Wow, okay, that's interesting. Okay, well, I mean, that's a pretty clear, yes sir.
Make another one. For Fridays for the east side. Why do you have to? It's a good idea because El Paso is so segmented that the people from the businesses from the east side will benefit a lot from their own perspective, from their own point of view. You know, but then
y'all got Nancy up here. That's my accomplishment. I haven't been able to get up here since January. So Nancy's up here now. I'm gonna step back.
Kaufman 1 Million Cups is every Wednesday in every city. However, there are a couple of other kind of morning coffee things that are syndicated, that's probably not the right word, across the U.S. And so if someone was interested in maybe organizing one of those and holding it on a different day in a different part of the city, we certainly, and now I speak as not an organizer for 1 Million Cups, I speak for the Hub. We as the Hub would help whoever's interested in doing that get it started, and tips and things like that. Certainly post it on our social media, but 1 Million Cups is stuck on Wednesdays. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's
right, it happens all across the nation. So there's over 100.
Same time, same place.
Right, there's over 100 1 Million Cups communities, and so on the East Coast time zone, 9 a.m. on the East Coast, you can actually tune in live and watch it online at any of the communities, and then Central, then Mountain, then...
I was going to suggest that. I know you film it, but is there a way to just rewire it so it's a live stream for people?
Wow. We had a discussion actually last week about Borderland TV doing it live with Enrique. You want to stand up?
Well, yeah, I could actually make an announcement. Yes, so thank you. We're actually at this initiative because one of our companies, Borderland TV, is the broadcast company that takes care of the live broadcast for the sister project in Juarez, which is called the Technology Hub. I don't know if you've been there. It's a great project. But Borderland TV does the live streams for every talk, every event, every conference that they have. So what we wanted to do here through one of our companies is to also provide the live stream services, but making it interactive. You know, as not just with Facebook Live and the way kids are doing it nowadays, we wanted to do a more professional, cost-effective broadcast. Which, by the way, now I'm gonna make a quick commercial here because we actually want to support this project. Our company is going to donate the services, but I want to help them out in a way that you may be able to help us because we want to get sponsors for the broadcast. Either a main sponsor per event or different sponsors throughout the, I'm gonna call it season or throughout the month. Because we know and I believe that right now we get to expose these businesses to 30, 40 people. But once we go live, once we start doing the social media stuff and we get to broadcast it on a YouTube channel, Facebook Live with interactive content, that means the minute they talk about a particular slide, we show it, hashtags, everything, all kinds of stuff, very cool stuff that we're gonna bring in. But we're looking for sponsors, so I know that some of you guys may be interested to, I don't know, we haven't come up with the sponsorship packages, but to be able to pay X amount of money to get the exposure, not only here local, but in the region or even national. You know, because we know that when we hook cups, a lot of people get to see. And I would hate just for these businesses to have to be exposed to only 30 people. You know, I want to get them exposed to 1,000 people, 3,000 people. Now, if we were to get a sponsor, you pay $100, then you're going to pay pennies per person, you know, to be exposed to. So that's kind of like the initiative we have, but we're going to try to come up with the logistics.
Yeah.
But technology and everything, we're going to bring in probably next week, next month.
So in the next couple of weeks, we're
Already making.
Committee's decided to give it a try a live broadcast, see how it goes, see what it looks like, see how we can build an audience, and if we can get local companies to sponsor the broadcast so that we could continue to do it. So we'll just see how it goes. But in the meantime, check out Borderland TV, go onto their site. They do a really nice quality job. They also live stream the Coyotes.
Yes.
And it's a really nice production they do.
Okay, so again, we can continue this real quick discussion at the end of these events every week as we feel like we need it. But so that's about it for today. Thank you for coming by. Please come back and see us next week. Please remember to sign in if you did not. Please remember to check in on the app. And please apply to present and bring your friends and tell your friends for them to apply to present. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.